Tomorrow is Veterans Day, an important time to remember and honor all the people who have served the United States. I spoke with the Democratic congressman from Massachusetts, Seth Moulton, who served 4 tours in Iraq as a Marine Corps infantry officer. Congressman Moulton, thank you for being here on the Hill on NewsNation. We appreciate the time. I know this is obviously an important weekend for you. You served overseas, a captain in the Marines, served in Iraq. You are hosting a town hall today. It is called a sacred space, I believe. It's the 9th year you've done this, so it's clearly had some success. What is it, and how is it helpful for folks like yourself?
So the idea with Veterans Town Halls is to bring veterans together to share some of their stories and experiences, but to do so not just with fellow veterans, but with the communities that we fought to protect, to try to bridge this divide between veterans and everybody else. You know, I think we're fortunate to live in a time in America when a lot of people support veterans, even if they don't support our wars. They want to support veterans when they come home. They want to help us out, but they don't even know how to relate. And Veterans Town Halls enable us veterans to share just short stories of how our experiences overseas have affected our lives back home. And I'll tell you what, it's a powerful experience.
You know, you mentioned the support for veterans, and there is no doubt about that. But I saw something, Congressman, that really caught my attention. There was a poll of veterans from 18 to 29 years old, and 70% of them right now say they feel uncomfortable when someone says to them, "Thank you for your service." Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's this feeling that people don't really know what that service is all about, that they're just sort of casually saying thank you with not understanding the real sacrifices that veterans went through and the effect that that service can still have on our lives today. And that's, again, what this town hall is about. You go to one of these town halls, they've now spread all across the nation, thanks in part to many of my colleagues in Congress who have picked up this concept and are doing it in their communities. And when you go to one of these, you'll hear all range of stories. I remember an Air Force veteran from World War II just talking about how much he missed being in the war. Heard veterans from Vietnam saying they thought the whole war was a terrible mistake. Veterans from Iraq who regretted some of the things that they were called to do, and other veterans who really felt impacted by the amazing people they met and got to serve with, and yet feel kind of lonely back here at home. So you'll hear all range of experiences, but a lot of Americans just haven't heard of those experiences at all because they don't know veterans personally.
Your experience includes suffering from PTSD. You have been very open about this, Congressman, in the recent years. There was something interesting earlier this year in Washington, earlier this summer, where you had Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who was on the left flank of your party, and Congressman Dan Crenshaw, a wounded veteran who is a conservative Republican. And they have come together, you see an image of them there, they have come together on the idea of we need to look into psychedelics and funding psychedelics, because maybe that is a way to help veterans and to help others who have, for example, issues with PTSD. What's the path there as you see it, Congressman?
Look, we need to do a lot more. Obviously, there are a lot of veterans from many wars that are suffering from this, and yet it's really just been an issue that we've been willing to address with Iraq and Afghanistan veterans. And so there's a lot of work that can be done. I know a lot of veterans who take cannabis, for example, in part so that they don't get hooked on opioids, but the VA refuses to even research cannabis. We're pushing the VA to not only research cannabis, but research psychedelics as well. And I think there is broad bipartisan support for this. You know, one other thing I just wanted to say, you know, you talked about post-traumatic stress disorder. I actually just call it post-traumatic stress because, as one of my best friends in the Marines who I served with said, he said once, Seth, you know, after what we went through, it would be a disorder if you weren't affected by it. And so the bottom line is that getting post-traumatic stress is a perfectly normal human response to incredibly traumatic experiences. We've just got to be better at treating it on the back end.
Thank you for watching. And make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.